Miss Becky here from the O'Fallon Public Library, and now it's time for Book Talk. This week on Book Talk, I'm going to talk to you about some of my favorite kinds of stories, fairy tales. Have you ever seen the movie Shrek? Did you ever watch the TV show Once Upon a Time? They took those old fairy tales and told them in a new way. So the first book I want to talk to you about is called Rump, The True Story of Rumpelstiltskin by Liesl Shirtliff. Here's the first line in the book. It says, "My mother named me after a cow's rear end." You see, when he was born, his grandmother only heard the first half of his name. And so he would get bullied by all of the kids and the people in his village until one day he thought his luck had changed and he found out how to weave straw into gold. But his friend Red warned him that magic comes with a curse. So he had to go on a quest to learn the rest of his name. So you may want to check out this book and see how Rumpelstiltskin learned the rest of his name. Or you may want to look at some of her other books. Liesl Shirtliff also wrote a book called Red, about Little Red Riding Hood, a book called Jack, a new telling of Jack and the Beanstalk, and a book called Grump, and that's a different telling of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. They're funny, they're fun, and they're a good quick read that you may want to check out. The next book I'm going to tell you about, you may have heard of before. It's by Chris Colfer and it's called The Land of Stories. The first book in the series is called The Wishing Spell. When I was a substitute teacher out in the schools, I had a student, every time I came in, she asked me, "Have you read this book? Have you read this book?" So I finally sat down and I read the book, and I learned about Alex and about Connor and about the gift that they were given from their grandmother, a gift of fairy tales. But what Alex and Connor didn't know is that the fairy tales go on after the happily ever after, and they get a chance to enter the land of stories. So if you like fairy tales told in a different way, you may enjoy the land of stories. The last book that I want to feature is for all of my graphic novel fans out there, and it's called Mighty Jack by Ben Hatke. Now you might be able to guess what fairy tale this comes from, Jack and the Beanstalk. And it does have a character named Jack, and it does have magic beans, but that's about where the similarities end. In this story, Jack has a younger sister named Maddie who has autism, and she doesn't speak, except for one day she does. And she tells Jack that he should trade his mom's car for a packet of magic seeds. And that takes them on a wonderful adventure of gardening. But in this garden, there are baby onions, there are pink pumpkins, and there's even a dragon. So you may want to check this out. It's also a part of a series, and we have all of these books and a lot more at the O'Fallon Public Library. Come check us out.